I want to represent skiing in the East Coast the way that it should be. Because quite often, in my opinion, the East Coast gets not so much overlooked when it comes to skiing and snowboarding, but gets kind of disrespected. And skiing and snowboarding had a very prominent start in the East Coast. Just for that alone, it should have higher ranking, higher standing, and get more respect. I understand that every year more people ski and snowboard in the Rockies than they do in the East Coast. But the East Coast is number 2. And even more, the East Coast has more skiers and snowboarders per capita than anywhere in the country. And the skiers and snowboarders in the East Coast ski and snowboard more often due to the sheer proximity of major cities, Boston's, New York, Montreal's, Philly, even Toronto. So this is my top 5 best places to ski in the Northeast. It's not going to come in any particular order with exception of number 1 and number 5. Number 5 being the most important. I'm going to skip the New York section because I'm a New Englander and I can't really speak on the New York side of it. I've been to Whiteface. It was a great mountain, but I don't know enough about it to talk about it. So I'm going to start off with my number 1, the only one that's going to come chronological. And this mountain, this area, this town, because for me, skiing and snowboarding is an entire package. I need to enjoy the whole aspect. I need to love the ride up. I want to love the ride home. I want to find a great dive bar. I want to have a high-end dinner. I just want to have the vibe and the feel of being in a ski town, that ski culture. And number 1 is Stowe, Vermont. There's not another ski town in the Northeast that I think can compete with Stowe for an overall ski town feel. Honestly, I think it's one of the best ski towns in the entire country. And if you get any publication and they're honest, they're almost always going to put Stowe, Vermont in that top iconic ski town. So Stowe is my number 1. My number 2, I'm going to give it to Sunday River, Maine. And I know Sunday River in Maine in general doesn't usually get as high a standing on any of these lists, but I think Sunday River is an amazing mountain. A few years back, whenever you would talk about the East Coast and you wanted to compare the big dogs, it was always Killington and Sunday River. Now Sunday River is technically not the second largest. It has a competitor in its same state that has more backcountry, slack country, overall more acreage, but Sunday River is an amazing mountain. And with the new improvements, the new lifts, the way they're trying to arrange that mountain and shuffle it and just make it a better experience, the snow igloo, that vibe in Sunday River is just a different feel than it is anywhere else. It's just a little bit more laid back, a little bit more flannel, a little less flash, and based on its size, its consistency, its coverage, and its desire to just improve, Sunday River is an amazing mountain that needs to be higher on any and all of these lists. And my number 3 is Saddleback in Maine. And that little mountain, before it died, after it came back, that little mountain is amazing. I found Saddleback the year before it shut down, and I had never really went up to that whole Rangeley area. And that area is pretty amazing. Great snowmobiling, great winter activity, especially now that skiing and snowboarding's back. But spring, summer, that's a beautiful area that needs to be enjoyed more. Maine has more than just coastline and lobsters, but Saddleback, That mountain is designed for skiing and snowboarding, especially if you like finding little hidden areas, you like wide open trees. I know that first time I was there, I found myself going through the trees, just hooting and hollering, like laughing and yelling up to the people over my head on the lifts. And I'm not normally that guy. I'm usually a little bit more reserved. I'm a little bit more in my head when I'm snowboarding, but that mountain just made me want to hoop and holler. And now that it's back with that extra love is getting, because now the town and the area knows how important that mountain was to its existence, and that group that brought it back, keeping it as private and small as any mountain can that actually is viable, is an amazing thing. Because you don't usually have a mountain that goes away and comes back in almost the same form but better. And Saddleback, kudos to you for doing what you did, and that mountain needs to get more respect. So Saddleback is number 3 on this list. And number four, you're gonna catch a theme. Number 4 is Sugarloaf in Maine. And Sugarloaf is a special case, because if you are in the ski and snowboard world, you might have seen this, but you might not. But when I mention it and you look for it, you're never going to unsee it. I can't think of a place where you can go, any mountain, any resort, just about anywhere on the planet, and you can't find a Sugarloaf sticker. Wherever there's places where people pop up their stickers, the sticker walls, the dive bars, the restrooms, you're gonna find a Sugarloaf sticker. You're gonna find a Sugarloaf sticker being taken to Mount Everest. You're gonna find a Sugarloaf sticker being stuck on a coral reef when somebody dives the Great Barrier Reef. That culture that comes from Sugarloaf really can't be beat. And just to emphasize that, take the Carrabassett Valley Academy. Started in the 80s, don't know exactly the year, but that little small school at the bottom of that mountain has produced some of the best snow sport athletes the country has. Bodie Millers, I believe he's probably, if not but one of the most decorated male skiers. Also Seth Westcott, 2 gold medals in the Olympics, great border cross. You got Jeremy Jones, who I love Jones. I love Jones products. They're all products of the Carrabassett Valley Academy. And if that small little school at the base of that mountain, which at the point in time was relatively obscure and small, can produce those athletes, it says something about the mountain, the terrain, the culture. It just says something about that grit and determination of Maine that you don't necessarily get elsewhere. You don't necessarily get it elsewhere in the Northeast, because Massachusetts has the mountains they have. New Hampshire, they're great, they're small, great vibe. Vermont has its own feel, but Maine just hits different. And I'll give a quick example. Seth Westcott bought into Winterstick snowboards. So he's not an original owner of Winterstick. I think that started like in the 70s in Utah, but he bought into it, brought it back home to Sugarloaf, and I wanted a new board. I wanted to support him, so I took a ride out to Sugarloaf when I was going snowboarding one day. Went to the back of the mountain where they have this little kind of building where they build a couple of boards. There were a couple of young hippie snowboarder kids in there. They let me in after I knocked on the door. They gave me a quick tour, told me that they got their lift out back and they ride their boards and they test them. I asked how they test their boards, and they gave me one of the most iconic Maine answers you're ever gonna get. They said, we ride them all day, we throw them in the creek, and we jump them. That right there, that's pure Maine. You can't get there from here. And it always stuck with me that that's the type of vibe you get in New England. That's the type of vibe you get in Maine. And for that, if you don't put Maine higher up on that list of top places to ski and snowboard in the Northeast, it's either because you don't know. Honestly, it's because you don't know. So I'm trying to inform you. And that fifth place, that place that I said is probably the most important. And I know some people are going to yell at me for making this statement, doing it this way. They find it as a cop-out. But I'm serious. The fifth best place to ski and snowboard in the Northeast, that's a personal place. That's that place that brought you into the sport. That's that place that you grew up riding. That's that little small mom and pop hill. Maybe you were lucky enough to live close to one of the big hills, and that place for you is one of the big guys. But more often than not, that fifth place is one of those small places. One of those places where you honestly might not have been thinking about lately. You might straight drive past it to get up to one of the big guys. But you need to think about that. Remember what brought you into the sport. Remember when you saw the sport with those new eyes. And maybe go back there. Show that place some love. Go enjoy a day on a little small hill. Because it's that fifth place that's special, that's different for everybody. That place always needs to be respected. It always needs to hold the place on your list. So if you got a top 10, make it a top 9 and always put that mountain there. And I'm gonna give my asterisk, my first asterisk. Actually, I'll give them both. My first asterisk is to Killington. It's on almost everybody's list if they have to rate the top mountain in the East Coast. I can't exactly do that because there's just something about that mountain. It's consistent all the time, but it gets its asterisk for being the biggest. Opening first, closing last, and that's an amazing feat and accomplishment. But I don't necessarily put it on my top 5. And the other one is Jay Peak. Almost everybody raves about Jay Peak. It gets more snow, it has the J cloud, it does all these things, and I give that. That's why it gets that asterisk. But Jay is cold, it's far. You can have more snow, but have less consistency of having a good time. And if you live close, this probably doesn't count. But Jay being so hard to get to, it's hard to take that complete gamble that you're gonna get one of those great days at Jay just because it's cold and windy, and an ice field under 300 inches is still an ice field. So I'll give it this asterisk for having the most snow in the Northeast, but it doesn't scratch my top 5. So that fifth mountain is a different mountain for everybody, but it's a mountain that almost should always be on your list. Hold that small special place for that fifth mountain, and you'll feel better for it. Those big guys are always going to be there, but if you don't give that love to those small little mountains, they might go the wayside like Saddleback did, and you'll feel bad if the mountain that you knew growing up is no longer in existence. So that's my top 5. I think the East Coast gets a bum rap, and I think even more Maine gets a bum rap, because on my list there was one Vermont that is undeniably the best, but the other 3, they were all Maine. And there's no coincidence to that. It's a great little place. It has a lot of character and a lot of qualities that people just overlook. Maine, the way life should be. I'm Blair, and this is the Dirtbag Association, where our wax is old, our knees are older, but the stoke doesn't melt. See you on the mountain.
I don't ask for too much.